My name is Bernhard Kaufmann. I am the owner of Moving Media, and we are the owners of the Payment21 brand. What we do is we process cryptocurrency acceptance for e-commerce, for ICOs, and we do provide exchange services mainly for institutional clients in Switzerland. Now, I'm not going to talk about my company. Yeah, I would like to give you some no-nonsense experience, about banking and crypto. We all know the status quo. It is extremely hard for any crypto-related project to open up a bank account, regardless where you are. There are crypto-hostile banks. There are something what I would call crypto cover banks, and then there are very few crypto-friendly banks. Now, let's talk about the status quo first. What has happened is when you're involved with crypto and fiat, when you are in a situation as a crypto company where you need to exchange Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency into fiat currency, you're always going to hit the wall, and you have to face compliance. Now, as we all know, for many companies, accounts get frozen, accounts get closed. If you want to stay in the business, you have to switch your bank accounts all the time. And that is that's a very time-consuming task. You know, you need to have your own department who is doing nothing else just than taking care of banking relations. When you look at the card schemes, Visa, MasterCard, they have all brought down these prepaid cards. There are some exemptions, but in the widest degree, no chance to set up a card that you can fund with crypto. Not possible anymore. Those who do it, those banks who do it, there are very few. They represent a concentration risk because everyone is running to these banks and trying to set up a prepaid card and make some business. So that part doesn't work currently. Then on a daily basis you get warnings from central banks. 2 weeks ago, even the central bank of the central banks, the Bank for International Settlement in Basel, has warned about cryptocurrencies. So it's a very inconvenient environment that we are in. Let's look at the Bitcoin hostile banks to begin with. Let me ask you, has anybody of you ever had any problems with opening a bank account or maintaining a bank account? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, all right, so we share the same problem. In the mass media, you can read reports that UBS or Credit Suisse or some other major bank is looking at blockchain technology. And when you look behind the scenes, what you can see is, okay, they are doing some experiments, but if you want to do business with them, there's absolutely no chance. There are these crypto hostile banks are mainly the big ones that I mentioned, and then you have a second category that those are the ones that I would call the crypto cover banks. They have some kind of involvement, yeah, but again, when you look behind the scene, you can't get any bank account with them. There are a remarkable number of banks who are actually exploring Ripple. However, I have not seen any kind of bank using Ripple that is actually offering bank accounts to companies like us. Now, I'll have to say that my company is a licensed company, meaning we have obtained a license from the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority. That was a process of 3 years, producing a lot of documentation and documenting everything to the greatest detail. So from a bank's perspective, and you look at our company, it should be pretty straightforward. Everything has been documented, it's audited, it has been approved by the regulators, but still, you have serious problems to maintain a bank account or to open up a bank account. I have had a bank account, my first bank account I got when I was, I think, about 12 years old. So, and I've been staying with that bank until recently. They figured out that I'm involved in Bitcoin, yeah, but listen, I'm heading a licensed company, a regulated company, you know. And what they did is they sent me a letter and terminated the account. Anyway, I know that many of you have had the same experience, but you know, then when you're in a situation like this, then you ask yourself, what's going on with these guys? Yeah, why are they terminating my account? We're just bringing them money, we're following the rules. I don't get it. Now, I think it's important to understand the banks, just to walk for a moment in their shoes. Now, when you work in a bank, you don't get paid for having a good idea. Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do. What you need to do is you need to make sure that the existing business, and they have existing businesses that are very profitable, that the existing business is maintained and that there is no troublemaker coming in. That's what they have to do. So whatever they say or advertise how innovative they are, when you look at the crypto sector, that's not the case. Yeah, they have a strong interest into digitizing their legacy systems, but going beyond adding crypto related technology. That's not in their mind, as I perceive it right now. And again, this is my personal experience. You probably have a different experience. I can only talk about what I see in our market and what I have experienced myself. Now, let's talk a moment again about the crypto cover banks. What I mean is you have some banks out there that are actually pretending that they are in crypto, but in fact they are not. There is one scheme out there. Those are the contracts for difference, the CFDs. You know, when you go online, you want to buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, you get a lot of advertising, and you get those Forex platforms that try to tell you that they are actually selling you Bitcoin, but in fact they are selling you synthetic Bitcoin. It's not real Bitcoin. But many investors fall for it because, you know, they want to make a lot of money through speculation. These so-called crypto cover banks, it's just one of the examples that are using fiat-based systems you know, to put out some kind of financial instrument that is labeled as cryptocurrency. They are actually, in my personal opinion, they are hurting the entire digital ecosystem, and that the regulators should actually put them on hold. Now, let's talk further about those banks who are crypto-friendly. In our country, in Switzerland, there is right now there are 2 crypto-friendly banks where you may get a bank account under certain conditions. The one is Falcon Bank, the other one is a small private bank in the canton Aarau. Then you have another one or 2 in Geneva. However, you can only get a bank account under very specific situations. Then you have the country of Liechtenstein, where you have a number of crypto-friendly institutions. Of course, there is Bank Frick, and there is Bendura Bank, there is LGT, and under certain circumstances and conditions, you can get a bank account. But now, let's have a look. What is the cost to it? These banks are very smart. You know, they know that we are in need for bank accounts. So they have just put up the price. And they are doing it not only in Liechtenstein, they're also doing it all around. They're doing it in Luxembourg as well. There are also two crypto-friendly banks that I know. So let me give you a quick overview about the fees that I am experiencing. Now, first of all, there is the account setup fee. The account setup fee is about between 2,500 and 10,000. Then there is the account management fee on a quarterly basis. That's another 2 to 10,000. Then there are negative interest rates. If you hold your funds in euro or in Swiss francs, they charge you about 0.5% up to 0.75% negative interest rate of your balance. Then in addition you have the transaction cost. Let's say you want to do a SEPA transfer. The minimum is 10 euros. And if you meet certain thresholds, it is 50 euros. And most of the time there is also a percentage. So if you have a bad deal, you know, it's up to 1% of the transaction size that you want to transfer. International wires, so outside of the SEPA zone, they are even more expensive, and there you are paying up to $100 minimum, yeah, plus up to 1%. Now, the question is, what can you do to get out of this situation? Or how can you manage the crypto fiat exposure? Of course, there are alternatives. You could use stable coins. Tether has been an example. However, that is not something that I would recommend because you know, it's a BVI company that is not really regulated properly, and we have never put in money there. However, I can see that stable coins are a feasible alternative that will come up in the future. Right now, the options that are out there, we are not necessarily trusting it, and we don't use it. Now, for me, it's also a question, you know, after having experienced all of this with the banks and doing it on a daily basis, you know, what can I tell you as a crypto company if you're looking for a bank account? What should you do? Yeah, what is going to increase your chances to get a bank account? Now, I think there are a couple of things that are going to increase your chances. First of all, if you are holding funds for a third party and you need to exchange fiat, yeah, then try to get regulated somewhere. The entity that you're using, yeah, use an entity that is located in the same jurisdiction as your bank. It's not a good idea to establish a Vanuatu company, you know, and trying to open up a bank account in Switzerland. Nobody will do it. Yeah, that's a beginner's mistake. What you should also do, in my mind, is, especially for those who are running ICOs, collect basic information. You know, when you're building your applications, make sure that you have the option to collect basic information that is needed for KYC. And again, I'm always talking about a situation where you are holding funds on behalf of a third party, and where you have to deal with banks, where you rely on the banks that they are going to accept your funds. Now, let me sum up quickly. I've talked about the crypto-friendly banks. I've talked about the crypto-hostile banks. I've talked about the reasons why banks are so crypto-hostile. I believe, yeah, there are some lessons that the banking industry can learn from the crypto community, and there are some lessons that we can learn from the banks. Now, we can learn from the banks. They really know what a network effect means. Yeah. Remember, they have established the credit card schemes, and that is an incredible network. All these banks are interconnected with each other. Yeah. This has happened all in the last 50 years. Yeah? And when you look at it, you know, it's really astonishing how it works. Now, what we probably know is that the network effect that is going to kick in once all these crypto projects are going to work in 5, 10, 20 years from now is going to be much, much bigger. And I think that is something that that we need to communicate, we need to engage, we need to talk to the bankers, we need to educate them. Most bankers out there have no idea how clearing and settlement actually works in their own system. They don't know it. Most bankers have no idea that you need a wallet if you want to hold Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So what we have to do is, at this point of time, to improve the relationship between the banks and the crypto ecosystem is we have to educate them. And now, what is it, because my time is out, what is it what the banks can learn from us? I think the banks, ultimately, they should understand that not dealing with cryptocurrency, not dealing with this paradigm shifting innovation right now is a security risk. It is absolutely necessary for them to understand it. They are missing out. Okay, now there is a lot that I could talk about. Maybe you have some questions. You can ask me anything. Is anyone having a question? Please go ahead. Sure.
Hi there. I have a quick question. I've actually worked in two retail banks, and now I've been talking to a lot of investment banks. I get the feeling that in a lot of the big investment banks, there are parts of the bank, not the retail bank, but the investment bank is very keen on moving to crypto. Do you see this often, and what do you think the incentives are?
Yes, we see that very often. The investment banks, they want to get into crypto assets, trading with digital assets, and they are actually establishing these departments. Yeah. However, when you look at the needs of the community, then obviously they are very much interested in trading cryptocurrencies, but they would never offer you a bank account. And that is also something that is a lesson, that I think should be learned by the banks. Yeah, to understand the crypto ecosystem, it is essential that you start servicing crypto companies, because that's where you learn most. However, there is demand, but it's a very typical bank greed-driven demand after cryptocurrencies, because they see, all right, you can make a lot of money here. But practically speaking, I don't see that as an interpretation of being crypto-friendly.
Just another question. I totally share your pain. I remember back in 2013 trying to get a bank account for my company back then, and I talked to 100 banks in US, and it was not easy. I would say that was actually one of the reasons why we founded Chainalysis, to enable you to get bank accounts, and we had some success in actually helping companies get in there by building the compliance setup. I think one important thing, and you said like the word greed, that's a little bit negative, but I would say revenue opportunity is probably the right way to phrase the problem with the banks. And I think that there been a long time where there was hardly any revenue opportunity of interest for a bank to kind of, take any risks at all. Today we are getting there, and you actually see a lot of the bigger banks moving into custody solutions because they want to get in now. And I feel you just need to drive a price up a little bit more, and then they all like compete to get in.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. When I say that banks are greed-driven, let's put it this way: they are very risk-averse. Yeah, and obviously it's a business. A bank is a business, and they are always looking for revenue opportunities. What we have been doing in our company, we are offering co-branding solutions, where we tell the banks, hey, we're going to do 50-50 revenue sharing. We're going to show you our technology. Let's do it together. That's a very hard sale right now. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what is going to happen down the road in 1 year from now. But you were also mentioning the USA. In the USA, there is one bank, that's Silvergate Bank, that is crypto-friendly. And obviously, they are able to do it. So I agree. We'll need to show them how much money they can save through establishing blockchain technology and getting rid of their legacy systems or combining it. How much money you can save and how much money you can actually make.